Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library. And I have what I hope will be a short and sweet, very cute little pair of earrings that I want to show you how to make. Um, I wanted to do something that was metal, but not too heavy, and long, but again, not too heavy. So has anybody ever, I don't know if you've ever used these little metal pieces that are actually spacers. You use them to link multiple rows of beads together to make necklaces and bracelets. And basically, what they do is just kind of hold your beads in place. And I thought they're so pretty. Wouldn't it be nice if they were used for something other than something functional, actually made a part of the design piece? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a pair of ladder earrings, and these are going to play a prominent role as the little steps on the ladder. So that's what we're going to do today. The things that you need are minimal. You're going to need these little um, spacers, and it doesn't matter how many little drill points there are in it. Those of you who get kits, there will be some that are longer than others. They're going to have 3 drill points, 4, 6. It doesn't really matter how many. All you need are the 2 on each end in order to link everything together. So you'll need your little spacer bars. You'll need some chain, head pins, eye pins, a jump ring, and an ear wire. And I'm going to put a little ball on the bottom of the last rung of my chain of my ladder, just for something pretty to put on there, just for something a little different, and it gives it a little more weight. Okay, so that's what we need today. The tools that you're going to be using are your usuals, your round nose pliers with the barrels that are round all the way around, and they start bigger at the bottom and taper up to almost a point at the top. The square nose pliers, the barrels are slightly rounded on the outside but flat on the inside. When you're purchasing them, you want to make sure that you get the ones that don't have the little grips in them, because if you're using soft wire, which we oftentimes do, it can put dents in your wire, and you really, really don't want that. The third thing that you're going to need is a pair of cutters to cut. Today we'll be cutting chain and our pins. They're basically wire cutters, and so they'll cut metal. The last thing that you're going to need is a ruler to measure everything out. That is it for our supplies and our findings that we need. So let's go ahead and get down here and get started. Okay, so this is what we'll be making today, these little ladder earrings. And so what we need to do is get some chain. It's a very small amount of chain that we need. I've already cut some of the pieces. And what I'm going to do is show you how to put the top of it together first. And then we're going to hook that into a ear wire later. But what I want to do is decide how long I want this top to be. And I know for mine that I need 4 links, but it depends on how wide your little step is, your little stepped ladder step is or rung is, as to how much chain you need in order to connect it to your jump ring. You may need a few more little links. You may want a longer necklace. This comes out to be about 3 inches with the ear wire. Um, so it just depends on how much length you want. For my purposes, for the ones that I have, this one that I have, which is approximately half an inch long, this little ladder step, I need 4 rings of my chain in order to link it up to my jump ring. And again, if you want it longer, you can use more rings. So I've got one cut. There it is. Very short. Looks very short when it's not attached. So I'm going to grab my chain. I find the easiest way to do this is to just hold it up where I can count my little rings. I need 4. And if you want to, you can grab one of these and hang it if that makes it easier for you to see the rings to count. Whichever way works for you, just count out the number of rings that you want and then cut the ring beyond that number. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is what I want. I'm going to cut the 5th one. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want these little pieces that I cut to go flying off to parts unknown, I'm going to grab this little jar. I'm going to hold my little ends and I'm going to put it down in the jar. I can grab that, it's so short, and cut and let all the little pieces drop down in there. That way I keep it from flying around. Then I'm going to check again to make sure that I have 4 rings. I just put it on this little headband so I can see, because it's so short. If I try to hold it in my fingers, I can't see all the rings. 1, 2, 3, 4 rings. Perfect. That's what I need. That out of my way. And now it's time to hook this onto my first rung of my ladder. So for that, I need an eye pin. Your eye pins are just these little pins with a ring on the bottom, the little loop on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is thread one of my pins through the outside loop, the outer loop of my little bar. I'm going to bend my wire to the side so that I can make a loop. If you make a loop with the wire straight up, the loop ends up landing on the side of your wire. But if you bend the wire over to the side before you make your loop, the loop lands on top in the center of your wire. So I usually like to bend it first, especially when I have something down there inside of it. I think it makes it easier to maneuver. So I've got my wire in here. I'm going to bend this to the side. I want my loops going in the same direction. So this one is going this way, side to side. So I'm going to bend my wire to the side, right above my spacer bar. I don't want a lot of space in there. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my cutters because I just need a very small loop. I want it to be the same size as the loop that's here. So it just depends on the size loop that you want. I only need about 3/8 of an inch to make the loop the size that I want. So I'm going to cut that off. Again, I'm going to grab my little bottle so that this little tip doesn't go flying across the room. I hate having to chase those things down. I cut that down into my bottle. Let it drop down in there. Oh, it didn't drop down in there. Get in there. Boom. Then I'm going to grab my round nose pliers and make a loop. So I'm going to hold on to the other side of my wire and my little spacer bar. I'm going to slide my wire a very short distance from the tip, maybe 1/8 of an inch, because I'm making a very small loop. I'm going to check to make sure that this wire is not sticking out on the side. If I can feel it, it's sticking out. Get it as far down in between the jaws of my pliers as possible. Then I'm going to rotate, get back in there. Just rotate until I have a little loop, just like that. And I want to make sure that's completely closed. And I have people say, when you're connecting something, doesn't it make sense to leave it partially open? The problem with that is it's hard to get it closed again when there's something in the loop, especially when your loop is this small and you have something else in there, how are you going to get your pliers in to close it up? You're better off not leaving it open, and I will show you how to make your attachment. Now, this loop is going this way, and this loop is going up and down. This one's going side to side. This one's going up and down. Let's fix that. That's easy enough to do. This wire is very malleable. So I'm going to put one pair of pliers on one side, one pair of pliers on the other side. See how they're going in different directions? And I'm going to twist until they're both going the same direction. So there we go. Here's my one connector. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab another head pin. Eye pin. Eye pin is the one with the loop. Slide that in. On the opposite side, the far side. See, this one in the middle, I don't do anything with. I don't need to. It has no function. It's here for beauty. I'm going to bend my wire to the side, right there above my little spacer bar. Cut it down to the size that I need for my loop. Oops. Double check. There we go. Cut that off. And make my other loop. Just slide my wire down maybe 1/8 of an inch away from the tip. Make sure that that tip isn't sticking out, and rotate until I have a loop. I hold everything very close so everything doesn't shift too much. Let's see, is it closed? Almost. One more little nudge and it'll be around there. There we go. So there are my little connectors. Let's make sure everything's nice and straight. There we go. So there are my little connectors. Now it's time to attach some chain. I think I'm going to attach the top part first. Let's attach that. So these are my little 4 links that I need to attach. So I'm going to open up my little loop. Now I said I was going to show you an easier way to attach than trying to leave this partially open. I'm going to open it to the side. So what I'm going to do is twist it open to the side, just like that. So now it's open. See if I get a closer view there. Come on. Come on. There. So I twisted that open, and I'm going to put the last ring on one end of my chain in there. Let's see if I've got enough space. Hope I opened it enough. Slide that in. We're dealing with such tiny, tiny pieces of chain. I saw somebody do this in one of my classes with pliers. I think I'll try that. Then you can see what I'm doing. Now, I might need to open it just a smidge more. Oh, pliers. Let's try that. She had very long fingernails, so she was having a time trying to get it on there with her fingers. Okay, so I've slid that right there in my little loop. Now I'm going to twist it closed again, back the opposite direction that I twisted it open. Okay, make sure that's completely closed. Check to make sure there aren't any gaps in there so your chain won't fall out. There we go. Nice. And let's do the other side. Okay, let's open that up. Find the little opening. There it is. Grab my chain. And slide it. Oops, twist it around on me. Come on. We're dealing with such small little spaces. This is why I decided to just do one pair, because I knew that this was going to be a little labor intensive. Plus, I've been getting so many hints about doing shorter videos that I hear you, and I'm going to do that. Okay, so there's my little opening. Let's slip this little chain inside of it. That last little rung. There we go. And twist it closed. Close, close, close. There we go. And make sure it's completely closed. Nice. So there's my first little chain connection. Now I'm going to connect it with my jump ring. It should probably bring this down. Sure. Be a little better. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to connect it with the jump ring. Now the jump ring, you open up the same way you opened up your little rings here. You just take your pliers on one side and another pair on the other side. Now, since we're dealing with square pliers and round pliers, I like to hold one side of the jump ring with my square pliers and then use the round pliers. Well, actually use the square pliers to twist and the round pliers to hold. And move some of these things out of the way. My camera gets confused as to what it's supposed to be focusing on if I have too many things in the way here. Okay. What's that? Come on. You can do it. It's better. Do you. And you. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I'm going to hold one side of my jump ring. Here's the top. Here's where the opening is. And I grab that one side with my round pliers with the tip going towards the opening. And then I'll take my square pliers and I twist. Just twist it open, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my connector or what I'm about to connect, and I'm going to string both ends of my chain through my jump ring. So there's one. Now, normally I would put my fingers closer, but I'm trying to let you see what I'm doing. And then here's the other one. There we go. So there's the top. Let's close that up. So I'm just going to grab it with my round pliers again, right there beside the opening, and twist. There we go. And that's the top of my earring. Right there. Yay. Yeah. What's next? We need to add some more chain. Now, I only used 2 links of chain between each of my little ladder steps because I didn't want it to be too long and I wanted it to be graceful looking. So I've cut, come on, my goodness. I've cut 2 links of wire, of chain. There we go. 1, 2. 2 little links of chain. and I'm going to attach them to the other side of my piece. So let's grab my little link, my little loop here. Here's the opening. I'm going to twist it open. Boom. Grab one of my little links of chain and slide it inside the loop of my eye pin. Come on. See, normally I would use my fingers, but if I do that, I mean, you can't see what I'm doing. I could do that. Easier for me, certainly. I'm sure it'll be easier for you too. Just slide that one link inside the loop and twist it closed. The other thing is, I'm giving you a lot of little tips. I find it easier to open and close with the square pliers because the round pliers on round wire are going to slide around. And a lot of times it makes it harder to do. Make it easier on yourself. Use your square pliers. You get a little more leverage. Let's twist that closed. Make sure it's completely closed. Get a good look. Make sure those tips, that tip is touching the rest of the wire so that your chain doesn't slide out while you're wearing it. And I know, I mean, you see me, I wear these reading glasses all the time. So I know how hard it is to see things this small. Another little suggestion is to take a picture of it. It magnifies it, and you will be able to see every little opening that should not be there. Best thing that you can do, give yourself a third eye to look at your work. Okay, let's open up this next one. Twist it open. Grab my chain. And slide that one link inside. There, come on. Or slide the head eye pin inside the link. And you might need to open it a little bit more. Let's see. I can get that in there. Or use the pliers. I think I'll do both. Open it a little more and use the pliers. And grab my little link. Get up there. Come on, you can do it. Might have to use my fingers, folks. Yeah, I think I will. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Let's do this again. Oh my goodness, you're getting so much radio silence while I concentrate on this. Oh my goodness. This is being a challenge. I can hear people now going, good grief, if she's having this much trouble, how am I going to do it? There. Yeah. Okay. Let's twist it closed again before it decides to jump back off of there and make me cry. Okay. Check it out. Make sure it's completely closed. Yes. Okay, so there we go. So there's the top, there's my middle, the bottom of the first rung, and I've got these ready to go. So I'm going to hook that onto the other two rings here. All right, so let's open this up. Again, twisting to the side. Let's grab one of my little rings here. Always the very bottom one. Slide it on and twist it close. Why is the first one always going nice and easy? Then the second one goes, no, I'm going to make your life difficult and embarrassing. Okay, be nicely closed. And when you're closing these, sometimes I see people, um, their little tips are actually overlapping. You don't want it to run past the other wire. You want it to actually meet the other wire. See if I can get a close up of that. See how it's just backed up. The tip is backed up against the other wire. You don't want it to run past it. Okay, so let's do the other side. Yes. So that's going to hook on the other ring. So let's open that up. And grab that other little link. And attach. Oh, come on. Told you every time. First one goes just fine. Second one, not so much. Get in there. There. And let's close it up. Make sure it's completely closed. There we go. Yes. So there we are so far. Nice. So now all we need is the last little legs on the bottom of our ladder. And then we're going to add our ear wires. All right, so for that, we need some more chain, obviously. And it just depends on how long you want those last two little things to go. Mine are five, is it five or four? One, two, three, four, five. So my little bottom two rows of chain are going to be five links. And then I'm going to add a little silver bead. Oh, and I've already cut that, haven't I? Yes. So here are my little five links. And when you cut something, if you cut everything out and then you're not sure, you want to make sure, take a little head pin or an eye pin and hold it up where it's easy to see what you've got. And then you can count. I find it makes it very, very easy to do because otherwise your fingers are covering up half of Half of these little links and you can't really see anything. All right. So I'm going to add a little ball on the end just for a little decoration. So I'm going to grab a head pin. Now the head pins are the ones that just have a little something on the bottom that keeps your bead from coming off, but it's not round or open. It's something closed. Let me get this thing to focus. Goodness, it's having a time. Come on. There. So there's my little head pin. It just has a little ledge on the bottom that I can use to put my bead on, and it won't fall off. So there's my little head pin with my bead on it. Something like that. Okay. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just make a loop at the top of the bead. This does not want to focus. I can't do it. I get it a little higher. Maybe I'm too close. Do with all of this. There we go. So what I'm going to do, and your pins are going to be a little long because we're just using a little 3 or 4 millimeter bead is what you can put on the bottom. You can make it bigger if you want something bigger, but I wanted to make sure that the earrings weren't too heavy and that the bead that's on the bottom didn't overpower the rest of the design. So what I'm going to do is put a bend in my wire right here at the top of the bead. Now, if you don't want to use your fingernail, you can use your pliers, but make sure that that bend starts right above the bead, just like that. Then I'm going to cut it until I have about 1/8 of an inch, just like I did with the others. Just cut it down to about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4, depending on how big you make your loops. Now, I usually hold everything to keep things from falling, but no matter how hard I try to hold this, it always slips between my fingers and flies away. So I'm going to put it down in this little container to control it. Then, gotcha. Okay, so now I've got my little wire. I'm going to make a little loop. Again, I'm going to go down just a very small fraction away from the tip of my pliers. Make sure that the little tip isn't sticking out. And make a loop. Oops. Come on. There we go. And there's my little loop. Okay. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Make a little bend. And unfortunately, you're going to have a little waste because we have to cut quite a bit of this off, unless you have some little head pins that are very, very short, because all you really need is about 3/4 of an inch in order to house this little bead. But this is what I have. So that's what we're using. We're just going to cut off. I'm not going to try that. It'll go flying. Then I'll be upset. Okay. Cut that off. Grab my round nose pliers and make my loop. Yeah. So they're my little beads. Now I'm going to attach that to my chain. So I'm going to open it up again to the side, attach it to one end of my chain, always that last link of my chain, and close it back up. Yeah. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I think you get I hope that you can understand now why I said you don't want to leave it partially open in order to attach the chain, because it's really very, very hard. I mean, you can try it. It's very, very hard to get it closed back up again if you're just pushing it together. Um, it's harder to do that than it is if you can use your pliers to twist it closed. Okay. Slide that in and give it a little twist. Oops, just a little twist, Virginia. That's all you need. Give it a little twist. There we go. And now we're going to attach it to the bottom of our letter. I'm going to open up one of my little rings here, open it to the side, attach my little chain, just slide that in the last link of the other side of my chain, close it. Good. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. I don't know how I ended up with an extra bead. I usually bring out extras just so I don't have to run after another one if for some reason I drop one, which does happen sometimes. Better to have extras. Slide that on and close. There we go. Yes. So the body of my earring is complete. All I need now is to put it on my head, my ear wire. Yay! Okay. Let's open up my ear wire. Now, your ear wires, when you buy them, I don't think I've ever seen any that were made differently. Usually the opening is on the same side as the stem that's sticking out. So you just grab your pliers just like you do with your loops. Open up that loop to the side. And slide it on my jump ring. Slide my jump ring in there. Oops, I guess I need to open it just a little more. That little ball wants to go down into the circle, and that's not where it's supposed to go. Slide that on my jump ring, or you can open the jump ring and slide it on. Either one works, they both open. Close that up, and we have an earring. Isn't that cute? I love this. Cute, cute, cute. Aren't they cute? I was wearing this one yesterday after I made it. Okay, let's try them on. I can't wait. There are my earrings. Aren't they cute? I love them. They're so lightweight and they're just so pretty and they'll go with absolutely anything. So those of you who get kits, I have some silver, I have some gold, and I hope that you will have lots of fun with this because I just really love them. They're just so adorable. Okay, anyway, that is our program for the day. For those of you who asked for shorter tutorials, I hope this is a good one for you. I normally try to do a couple of pairs of earrings, but this one is does take a little bit more time. It's worth the effort. And I hope that you will make some for yourself. I hope that you enjoyed this. And I hope that you will um, make one of these for yourselves because this is awesome. But anyway, until next time, if you want to get in touch with me, I do really hear what you're saying and do like to get some instruction on what you would like to see better, what you would like to see done in the future. If you have anything that you would like to see me make, let me know. And if it's possible, you may get your wish. So if you want to get in touch with me, contact me at jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's jewelrygin20@gmail.com. You can leave comments and pictures on the DeKalb County Library Facebook page. That's facebook.com/DeKalb Library. That's DeKalb Did I spell that right? DeKalb Library, or you can leave comments on the DeKalb County Library YouTube page, which is youtube.com/DeKalb County Public Library. You have to spell out the whole thing. That's DeKalbCountyPublic DeKalb County Public Library. I'm sorry, I'm facing a window now and I'm watching all the little squirrels and chipmunks run around out there. Silly distraction. But anyway, I hope to hear from you. And until next time, I hope you have a really great week, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.